Welcome all. We have already started our 21st lesson, that is the internal organs which are busy at work. Now that day we have studied about the respiration process. So now we are going to start with the digestion process. So basically digestion process, to start into it, we are going to first see that our digestion process starts from the mouth itself. The time you intake the food, the time digestion process start. That starting point is said to be as the mouth till the last point, which is anus, through which all the waste is been released outside. That total system from mouth till anus, that whole line or that whole passage is said to be as alimentary canal. So now we are going to study something about alimentary canal, digestive organs, and the organs which are coming into it are the digestive organs or the organs which are present in the alimentary canal. Now first we are going to study about the alimentary canal. The food we eat is digested in our body. Normally, we all agree to this sentence that our digestion process goes on continuously. Whatever you intake, it is been digested. The one which is not digested, it is been thrown outside. That is, the substances that can mix with the blood are formed from the food. Whatever is getting mixed with the blood is just you are getting out from the food itself. Whatever you eat, from that only you are going to get the nutrients, etc. This process takes place in the different parts of a long and flexible tube inside our body. Now this process should be taken under one of the system. So digestive system is looking upon all this process, and this tube is nothing but called as alimentary canal. The upper end of this tube is said to be as mouth, and the lower end of this tube is said to be as anus. Just now I have told you that whole line, that whole tube like structure which starts from mouth and which ends to the anus is said to be as alimentary canal. Even if there is a continuous tube going from mouth to anus, the shape of this tube is not same in all the parts. If you will be thinking it will be tube like, so not the tire tube which is same in all the places. Actually this tube, it matters in size because stomach is little different in size, intestines are little different in size. So you can clearly see in this picture, this starts from your mouth, it goes down here near the stomachs, then is your small intestine, then is the large intestine, and the last part is said to be as the anus. You can clearly see these pictures in your textbook. Now the different parts of this alimentary canal have different structures and functions. This alimentary canal consists of different organs which are having different parts also, and different shape also, and different functions also. These different parts are said to be as digestive organs. So this stomach, this esophagus, this mouth, intestine, these all are said to be as the digestive organs. Certain glands outside the alimentary canal assist the process of digestion. Some of the glands which are outside it, for example liver is one of the gland which gives you the digestive juices which you are requiring for mixing of the food, that is been given by the liver and all. So it is been added, or it is been added to the stomach by that particular glands. Now we are going to study about the digestive organs. The process of digestion begins as soon as the food is taken into the mouth. The time you take the food into your mouth, that time your digestion process starts. The teeth, tongue, saliva all keeps to convert this food into the soft moist ball. So your tongue, your teeth helps for chewing up the food, tongue gives you the taste, and saliva helps to convert it into moist ball, and that moist ball is said to be as bolus, which is being swallowed and which is easy to swallow later. This bolus passes through the esophagus into the stomach. From the esophagus it just travels down to the stomach. The stomach is shaped like a bag, hence the food is churned over here. The digestive juices in the stomach brings about the digestive process. At the same time, some diseases producing germs in the food are also destroyed. The food changes into the thin slurry in the stomach, then is passed into the small intestine. So what they want to tell you is that when the food is been taken into your body or into the stomach, then the digestive juices are getting mixed into it. That food which is in form of the ball like, it is been just getting converted into the soluble form, and later it is been passed through the small intestine. The small intestine of an adult is 7 meter long, and the large intestine is somewhere about 1.5 meter long. Now you will be thinking small intestine and it is 7, and large intestine, it is by name itself it should be more big than that, but actually it is not. You can clearly see in this picture Small intestine is like pipe. It has been rotated, or it has been covered like a pipe, and that's why it is very big, but it is been placed in a small area. That's why it is said to be a small intestine. Large intestine is only covered at the borders. So the next part we are going to see over here is, okay, the small intestine of an adult is 7 meter long. The digestive juices in the intestine brings about the several digestive processes. As a result of all these digestive processes, certain substances are formed. These are useful to the body and can get mixed with the blood. In small intestine, they are absorbed into the blood. The remaining part is being passed through the large intestine. So whatever the food you are intaking, it is been getting converted into the soluble form in your stomach. Later it is been passed to the small intestine, and from small intestine it is been absorbed into blood, and blood which is passing all the nutrients to your whole body. The large intestine of an adult is about 1.5 meter long. That only I said 1.5 meter long. Here much of the water in the remaining substance is absorbed, and basically here the feces and the stools which you are passing, the excreta which you are passing, it is being stored over here. The feces are getting collected near the rectum area for some time, and afterwards when you excrete, that time you throw all these substances out through the anus. Now here they are asking you, do you know the sufficient quantity of water is necessary for carrying out the whole process of digestion to take place properly, as well as for the food to keep moving through the alimentary canal? If one does not drink enough water, one becomes constipated, that he cannot pass the stool very easily. What they want to tell you is that for your whole all these processes you require proper intake of water, and for that, so for all these processes, for all this digestion, you require a proper amount of water in your body. One should drink at least 5 liters of water daily, so that all the processes work smoothly. And if you don't drink water, whatever faces or whatever you excrete, whatever you throw out of your body, it will be hard for you to remove it out from your body. That's why drink proper and good amount of water. None of the other tasks in the body can go on without water. Without water, your body, any of the tasks it will not run smoothly. The water that is absorbed during the digestion is the water that is used for all other processes. Whatever the water you are drinking which has been absorbed, that only water is being used for all the processes. So we should drink proper amount of water regularly. The upper ends of both the esophagus and windpipe are open near the throat. Throat is also said to be as pharynx. So the upper end of esophagus is the one from where the food is being taken down, and windpipe is the one from where air, oxygen and carbon dioxide is being taken or released outside. So that both openings are same. So openings are near the throat area. So when you are eating the food, when the food is swallowed, the windpipe is closed, and when you are breathing, your esophagus, that particular opening is closed. So always remember that when you are eating food, don't speak, or when you are speaking, don't eat food. What can happen later, that is the reason why one must not eat in hurry. This can lead to that the food may enter in the windpipe and also cause us the choke on it. We must avoid speaking and eating at the same time. You should not eat, or you should not, sorry, you should either speak or you should either eat at one particular time. Now one thing they have told you over here is that if you want healthy teeth, you must need to look after them. Every tooth has a covering of enamel which protects the delicate inner parts of the tooth. The enamel is the hardest substance in the body, but if you do not keep your teeth clean, even this enamel corrodes and later the teeth decay. They want to tell you is that for the digestive process or for the digestion, the thing is what you are going to chew the food stuff, and for chewing your teeth should be proper. And if you want healthy teeth, you should brush them regularly, and if you don't protect them, later your teeth can be decay. While having your meals, you should also enjoy all type of different flavors and taste. You should be having a proper sense which is being given you by the tongue. Sometimes we find that the food items does not smell good or it smells bad. So that time you should understand that the food is spoiled. You are not supposed to eat that food, which can also lead to food poisoning. The next part of this lesson we are going to study soon. Thank you. So now you are knowing one thing, that if you want healthy teeth, you should always look after them. You should always brush your teeth. You should always see that during night time you are going to brush them. So when you are having your meal, they have already discussed that you should see that the taste of the food is good. If it is not, please don't eat it, because when the food gets spoiled and if you consume it, it can also result to food poisoning. The next part of this lesson is name the organs that brings about the respiration process. Which organs are based, or which organs are helping in the respiration process? Yes, they are the nose, the lungs, the windpipe, and the alveoli. Alveoli are not the actually organs, but they are present inside the lungs. Now the systems in your body, how digestive system, respiratory system are present, same way there are various other systems in our body. You have seen how several organs work together to bring about respiration. So to bring about respiration, there are many organs which are working together. This is not done by only one organ. You require numerous organs to perform a single function. You can look after your school also. You can take an example of the school. To run the school, only teachers are not necessary. To run a school, you require teachers as well as students. You require the clerical staff. You require principal. You require administrator. You require many of the people to see that these all functions run smoothly. Even if one of these organs do not function properly, the process of respiration will not be completed. If suppose nose said that I am not supposed to breathe in, you do your own work, then how is the respiration process going to take place? So all these organs which are present, they need to work properly and they should perform their functions properly. The group of organs which work together to carry a certain function is said to be a system. So what is meant by system? The group of organs which come together and perform a single function is said to be as the system. Thus, the nose, the trachea, the lung, the diaphragm together makes up the respiratory system. So the respiratory system is made up of these following things. There are the lungs, trachea, nose, diaphragm, etc. So respiratory system is comprised of these all particular organs. Now the next part is the energy for the food. The energy for the body. Now how do we get this energy? As a result of respiration, oxygen enters the blood in the body and spread to all parts of the body. When you breathe inside, when you take oxygen inside, the oxygen enters the blood in the body and spreads to the all parts of the body. Substances formed in this process of digestion also mix with blood and reach to all parts of the body. So whatever the substances which have been formed in this process of digestion, they also get mixed with the blood and just go through all parts of the body. Of these, some substances acts as a fuel for the body, and for this some of the substances are acting like a fuel. How petrol and diesel are required to run a vehicle, same way food is also required. How oxygen is required for breathing process, same way food is also required for all these processes, and they are acting, all this food is acting like a fuel in our body. The body thus gets the energy which is being used by the body to carry out all the functions. So the next part of this, so if anyone asks you how you are getting the energy to do all this work or all these activities, yes, we are getting energy from the food we eat. Now the circulation of blood, how is the circulation of blood taken place? Now blood is carried, or blood carries the oxygen obtained from the air and energy giving substances in our food to all parts of the body. The blood, what does the blood do? Blood carries the oxygen along with it and also the substances which have been required by our body. But what keeps the blood flowing? How is this blood flowing? Anyone is there to on that particular pump? Now normally when we want water, we on the pump or we just press the button, we get the water into our house and then we just off it. But who is doing this work of pumping the blood? Who is giving us the blood? Who is making this blood to flow? Yes, you are correct. The heart is continuously contracting and relaxing. Heart expands and again it relaxes back, which does the work like a pump, which pumps the blood, and that's why the blood keeps flowing in the whole body. The network that consists or the tubes or the vessels that carry the blood away from the heart are those that brings the blood back from the heart and spread through the body. There are the vessels. If you will go in the higher classes, you will understand that these vessels, blood vessels, are namely like arteries and veins. The one are carrying the blood from the heart to all parts of the body, and other one are from the body all parts, they are just carrying the blood towards the heart. They are doing these functions, and the process of keeping the blood flowing in our body is said to be as the blood circulation. Apart from oxygen, blood carries innumerable other substances from one part of the body to another. It is not only doing the work of carrying the blood, it also takes about the many substances along with it to carry out the function properly. Now, the heart and the network of blood vessels together are forming as to be a blood or circulatory system. So, circulatory system comprises of the blood vessels, blood, and the one which are useful or one which are helping to carry out these functions is said to be as the blood circulation. It's said to be as the circulatory system. As long as we are alive, the process of blood circulation is continuously growing, and it is just going on day and night. It is not taking a holiday on any of the day. This circulation, these are the vital functions of the body, they are essential functions of the body, and they are going on continuously. The nervous system. Now, what is meant by nervous system? Now you will be knowing the main control of our whole body is our brain. So brain controls all the functions of the body. If brain tells me to move, I am going to move. If brain tells me to walk, I am going to walk. Brain assigns certain function. If there is snake in front of me, brain will allow me the function to run away from there. So who is telling you these things? Yes, your brain is giving you all these charges, all these messages. So the function of the respiratory, circulatory and digestive system are vital. Same way the nervous system functions are also vital. They are going on continuously in your body. The time the blood circulation is not proper, that time you will face many problems. So we have to be carried out, or they have to be carried out seriously. Like there should be no disturbance in between. It should be very smooth. There are some tasks that we carry out only when we like. For example, speaking, running, studying, playing, etc. So some activities are there which we are doing on our wish. I have told you, which we do on our wish. My brain is giving me the messages, I'm supposed to do with them. My brain, if suppose there is thorn in front of me, I'm not supposed to hold that thorn because my brain is telling me not to do so, because if I do, it will be painful. So you may have learned about the coordination, means paying attention to all the different functions and ensuring that they all occur at the right time and in the right manner. So coordination means what? If suppose teacher is teaching in the class and your duty is to be quiet, to listen to the teacher, not to speak any of the word in between. But your brain gives you the function to laugh in the class, and if you laugh suddenly when the whole class is quiet and you are laughing, it will find that the coordination of yourself in that class and coordination of your all body parts is not equal. There is something missing. Someone will ask you, are you mad? Why are you laughing when teacher is there in the class? If suppose father is shouting to you and still you are laughing, if suppose anyone is telling you something serious and you are not paying attention to it, so that should be the imbalance in the coordination. So coordination means what? Where all our organs are working properly at that particular moment. Okay, maintaining this coordination is the function of the brain. When I am supposed to eat the food, I am supposed to use my hand. I am not supposed to eat by legs when my hands are proper. This is the coordination. This is the messages are being passed by the brain to your body. There is a network that connects the brain and all parts of the body. That network is nothing but the nerves, which carries the messages to and fro. To and fro means what? it just passes the messages and again brings back the messages, which goes on continuously. And the brain and the networks of nerves are together said to be as the nervous system. The nervous system functions to coordinate of all the bodily functions. So whatever the functions are there, to when to move your hand, when to move your legs, what you should do while sleeping, your eyes are closing. So this all function, this all coordination, have you seen anytime your one eye is closed, one eye is open? It will never happen, because this coordination is already given by the brain to us, and nervous system helps to maintain them. So always remember one thing, drinking alcohol can have many of the ill effects on our body. So always see that it will look after that all our nervous system, the control of our nervous system will totally be lost. There will be no coordination in our bodily movements, and which can later lead to accident if you are driving when you are drinking. So whenever you are drinking, actually drinking is not good. I'm not supposed to tell you this also, but it is been included in your syllabus. If any of your knowing persons are drinking, please tell them not to do so, because it is not good for one's health. If a person is drinking, what will happen, that drinking alcohol will directly affect to the nervous system will slow down, you will feel drowsy, you will feel sleepy, and later it can lead to an accident if you are driving. So if one keeps drinking alcohol for long period of time, it can also cause ulcers in the inner lining of digestive organ. Ulcer means what? Ulcer means in Marathi we called as ton yene. There are small reddish color part is been formed in your mouth. The same way this has been formed in the digestive organs, and which can later lead to cancer too. There will be liver fail also. So always remember, if any of the function of your organ is disturbed, look after it. Try to just take a proper medical treatment. Whatever medicines have been prescribed by doctors, that only you take. Don't take any of the unknown medicines on your own. Okay, so from here there are other systems also, such as skeletal system gives you proper shape, stiffness to your body, and you can also look after this all system properly. You should take care of them. From this lesson you have understood many of the things. So see that you will look after your body, you will take care of your body. Life has been given one time to us. God have gifted you this all things with free of cost. So it's our duty to maintain it, to keep it healthy, and to keep it safe. I hope you have understood this lesson. From this lesson, whatever I have told, just properly listen to it. It is very essential, and this lesson is also very important. Thank you.